Hello, A-Person here, and welcome to the epilogue to an old series on my channel. This is Xpert 11 Road to Glory, What Happened Next. If you don't know what Xpert 11 is, it's a football management game online that's unfortunately been through some rough times with its ownership and is currently still operating on Flash, even though Flash is about to go out of fashion, but what have you. Anyway, I've been playing this game quite considerably over the last 7 real life years or so, and I did a YouTube series a long time ago detailing my attempts to take a team from the very bottom divisions all the way to the top. In this video we're going to go over the remainder of what happened with that team, because I really left it on a cliffhanger. I didn't actually finish the series properly, and you never really got to see whether the team actually made it or not, so this is kind of make up for it. So the team did win one major trophy in the end. We managed to defeat Real Peeps in a penalty shootout in epic fashion. The shootout was pretty epic, and in the end it came down to Herrera Tudoran, Real Peeps goalkeeper, missing a penalty, and followed up by that Ibrahim Camara scored the penalty which won Knights the Cup. You don't know what happened after that though, because I never really went into it, but in season 42 we got drawn in Division 1A, which looks like a very competitive division, and it did not get off to the best of starts with a 2-0 defeat to Cardiff Dragons. However, as the season went on, things got a bit better, let's just say, and we started picking up many victories, including this long run of victories you can see here, and then it took until we went to the XCL for the first time to actually lose a game. We had a pretty not so great week after beating Swedish Gentlemen 2-0, as we lost our first ever XCL game against Blurp FC, a Champions League outfit. This team went on to reach the final of this competition in the end, but as you can see, they didn't have the best of squads, but they had an excellent manager, and he easily dismantled our tactics to win 2-0, thanks to goals from Dick Page and Lionel Sandbrook. We also then went out to the Cup to Swan and Helmet, but that just preceded a series of victories in the league, and we really started racking up. After transferring from Division 1B to 1A, it really seemed like we might actually be able to finally achieve this team's ambition of getting promoted to the top flight. This in spite of the fact that we were also contesting the XCL at the same time, and we were also doing quite well in that too. We were a 4-0 win against a rebuilding team here. As the XCL wore on, we then got a huge victory over Tenorio Stars, which really helped us qualify from this group. You see a 2-1 victory. We took the lead early on through RV Kiro, who was a signing from the previous season. But I should probably mention for season 42, because of the depth that Kiro provided, I decided to add Japanese striker Uchiha Itachi to the squad. This was to give us a bit more depth, and one of the problems with the team previously was that everyone was marking Celso Motor really a lot, so that meant that we often lost out on many occasions in certain games. But yeah, as you can see, we went 2-0 up here. Celso Motor scoring the second goal. Tenorio did get one back, but they had a pretty awful luck with the injury to Nitish Chatterjee and a sending off later on in their game for their players. While this was going on, the league campaign was going on pretty well. We got an excellent win away to Sporting Pissabun by a single goal. This is one of the few times we actually did well against Sporting Pissabun, because we would face them again in future seasons. So, the next major win we got in the league was against ASM Angels. So I'm getting confused with what private league team I have now. Never mind that. Anyway, so in this game we managed to win 1-0 thanks to a free kick from Pierre Heslick, a very good win. And they did admittedly play a few kids, but things seemed to work out in the end. So the next game was against Cardiff Dragons, and we did lose that one, but it didn't really matter, because the win over ASM Angels means that, yes, this team achieved its ambition. We went all the way from the bottom division all the way into the top flight of the Ultimate League. Mission accomplished. But can we go any further than that? Well, the team did spend multiple seasons in the Ultimate League top flight in the end. So, following our... We didn't really make too much changes to the squad over the off-season, because we were still competing in the XCL. We went to Westside BC and won 2-0 with a very good result. Pierre Hesslink and Celso Motor scoring the goals. And after that, we then lost 1-0 to Westside BC, but we progressed to the next round and got through to the quarter-finals of the XCL. So not only did we get promoted to the top flight, but within the same time frame, we managed to reach the quarter-finals of the XCL. Sadly, the fixture pilot started to catch up with us. Our debut season in the top flight did not get off the best of starts. We were a 1-1 draw against Portuguese side Lusitanian Warriors. Salsamoto opening the scoring, but Rodolfo Amor equalising for them. It was a tough season overall, and we were mostly trying to avoid relegation from it, because we then drew 1-1 away to Roca Boca, and Devin Riley got injured in the process. Oh yeah, we did actually sign a new backup goalkeeper in Valley Unison for the season, but that didn't really make too much of a difference. It was mostly the same squad that got promoted, as you can see running Itachi there to try and counter Moto being man-marked. I don't really know how well that's worked out. Ever since then I've sort of changed my tack on striker marking, as it were, because I found maybe it's actually better to have someone on, but you never know really. Anyway, if you look carefully, you can see we won 4-0 against Cricket United, who were another really strong side, although they didn't really have the best of seasons at the end. They would get relegated. They were former league champions after all, but it didn't really work out for them this time around. We smacked them 4-0 with Kev Hestlink, Salsa Motor and Alvito Roma all scoring goals. Now if we move on to the rest of the season, we lost 1-0 at home to House of Stark. Greg Rook scoring the only goal. House of Stark would go on to win the league title that season, so not a completely bad result by any means. But yeah, it was a pretty difficult game overall. We then lost 2-0 to Kyoshi's Killers, and then drew 0-0 with what then was George Best 11. They have since changed their name, and I'm retroactively looking at this, so this is why they have a slightly different name here. This was a 3-1 win over a different team entirely. They have I can't remember if they were the CFR Cluj-Napoca then. They might have been, but they were one of the strugglers that season, and we won 3-0 against them thanks to Pierre Pesnik, Brayta Taretta and Celso Motors goals. So things are going okay-ish so far. We're not looking like title contenders by any means, but into this doubleheader we started to pick up the pace a bit. Get our second win in a row against Cluj-Napoca, and then we managed to defeat George Best 11. While this is going on, we are actually doing quite well in the cup, and it's looking like we could potentially go for a second major cup title. By this point, we also added the XCL. Babs win today maybe were way too strong for us, and I kind of respected them a bit too much, so we went out to the quarterfinals. So we were down to just 2 games per week. So you can see here a win in the cup sort of progressed past the 6th round. Kyoshi's Killers was then a 0-0 draw, but they had a pretty good team there. But it was, as you see, nothing much happened in this game whatsoever. They dominated the game, but failed to create too much in terms of chances, and it was a 0-0 draw in the end. And then House of Stark, the champions to be, then lost. We lost 1-0 to them basically. Greg Rook with a 90th minute goal. I'm sure that is the sign of things to come. Hint, hint. But yeah, we then smacked Cricket United 6-0. By this point, they had already effectively thrown in the towel and sold off their squad to start a rebuild. So, as you can see, the 6-0 scoreline isn't actually too surprising given the now difference in strength between the two teams. And I even went 3-5-2 for the process, putting Devin Riley up front, who even scored while playing as a striker, with Celso Moto also scoring twice. 2 goals for Azrat Zairi, who's really come on as a player by this point and is really hitting his peak. And Brayta Taretta also got another goal. Now the team at this point is quite old. It's most of our key players are now 29, so many of them with 16 bars, with Pim van der Kries in particular reaching 18 bars of skill, so he's pretty strong by this point. And then the last 2 games in the division were a 0-0 draw against Roca Boca just after they knocked us out of the cup in the semi-finals, so we didn't quite get as far in the cup as previously, but it was still a very good effort overall. And our final game of the season was a 1-1 draw against the Titanian Warriors. So yeah, we ended up surviving in the Ultimate League top flight in our first season, so a pretty decent job. So based on that, I wasn't expecting too much going to the next season, so we did make a few changes. I got rid of RV Kira, Uchiha, Tachi, and I believe we also sold Bapet Kanchana Kuma, backup defender, as to the side that just got relegated, CFR Cluj-Napoca. So they went down with our new defender. But the thing is, our team is getting kind of old now, so I had to start making some changes to them in order to keep them active and competitive. So I brought in 3 new young players. We signed defender Maciel Del Horno, midfielder Hernando Milton, and striker Cody Harwood. All 3 were designed to play in the team on various occasions to try and lower our average age, which is now 30. And the game mechanics say that if a team reaches an average age of a certain number, then it starts to affect the performance somewhat. So that's something we needed to take into account. This team is now on its last legs. So, what a way to go in your last legs and do a title challenge. It didn't seem that way too much, because we drew the first game 0-0 against Joshia's Killers, but one of the newly promoted teams this season is now no longer existing. They were Bayern de los Caidos, who were a Spanish side who turned out to be way better than the strength of their team suggested. They lent heavily on the strength of their 18-bar goalkeeper and 18-bar defender to launch a real title challenge. However, this was Knight's best season yet. We were extremely competitive that season. We demolished last season's champions House of Stark 3-0 with goals from Celso Mota, Raymond Hargreaves and Alvito Roma. The team were very competitive overall. The additions of the youngsters made a big difference to the team overall. We won 5-0 against newly promoted Aardvark Owls. Well, they might be in the Owls at that point. It's been a while now. This is season 44 here. Currently in real time, we're just coming towards the end of season 54, which gives you just an idea of how much time has passed in the game since then. Now, if you have a look very carefully, you can see that we then beat Rocaboca 1-0, so you can see a huge upturn in results this season. It's really making a big difference. We are beating teams we could only draw against last season, although Devin Riley did get sent off in this game. And you can see that a lot of ratings are pretty good overall, and that was one of our first wins against Rocaboca, who admittedly would get relegated that season. We demolished the Italian Warriors 3-0, and things were looking very, very well. Bayern de los Caidos was still a threat, and we did actually beat them as well, so yeah, things were looking really good. It was a close run race though. Bayern were very, very consistent throughout the entire season. We had to really try and keep up with them overall. So, as the season progressed, we then drew 1-1 against the Titanian Warriors, which was not actually that great result, but then we won against Rocaboca and Aardvark Owls. But then we lost 2-0 to Sporting Pisabun, which was really not too convenient. It was because Bayern managed to get a good result against House of Stark, and Pim van der Krees was absent for this one, so Maciel Del Horno had to play in defence, and that was a real big thing. But unfortunately, as it looked like we might be able to win the league title, this happened. We lost 1-0 at home to House of Stark, but we dominated the chance counts with 3 while they only scored 1. They scored through Dag Ingar Wafne with their only chance of the game, and they won and took all 3 points. A very, very heartbreaking result. And as a result, we would go on to lose the league title to Bayern de los Caidos by a single point. Although we did, and also let me know, we did manage to beat Bayern twice that season. So this team really could have won the league title, and it was so disappointing to lose out on that. So yeah, at any rate, this team proceeded to, well, we did win this game against Joshia's Killers, which was at that point the final game of the season, but it was too late at that point. So, and there were an armada of really powerful teams coming up from the lower divisions, and seeing this and seeing how strong the teams were, we basically wasted our biggest chance to win the Ultimate League. A very sad end to this team's lifespan. And I do mean the end, because after the season was over, I decided to start rebuilding the team. We sold Pim van der Kries, our best defender. We sold Ibrahim Camara. We sold Devon Riley, and we sold Reza Etta. In came a multitude of youngsters, including Severino Motta, GQ LN, Percival Bowie, and among others. But yeah, so we basically started from scratch here. We were still an Ultimate League side for season 45 of the Ultimate League, but we were significantly weaker. We lost our first game 3-0 against Sporting Lissabon with the now weakened team. And Cody Harwood is still here, you can see. We also signed young striker Danny Massa, who would go on to become our main striker as of today. But yeah, basically what followed this was a season of heavy defeats: 4-0 against Jesus and his Pandas, a 2-2 draw against Salador, a 0-0 draw against the Lusitanian Warriors. And we did actually manage to win games that season, so it wasn't a complete bust of a season. We kept Ant Connolly around, which really helped overall, and that allowed us to get a good win. And we also had Mr. Leroy Jenkins in the back line. Although, I forgot about the fact that he should have had 2 E's in the name, but oh well. So yeah, Hernando Milton is still at the club at this point, but we would cycle through lots. I decided to adopt a new rebuilding policy. We would sign ultra talented youngsters for the team. So after this season, after we got relegated from the Ultimate League, it was pretty inevitable really, with a team of kids in such a strong division. I went ahead and started making more changes to the team. We signed a new, highly skilled young Swedish defender named Mats Lagergren. He was very, very expensive, but he was worth it. And you can see we started varying the formations quite considerably in order to provide game time for more of our players. So yeah, now we can come to the present day. It is now season 54 of the Ultimate League, or season 54 has just finished. Knights fell all the way down to Division 5 while we were rebuilding. However, in season 52, we got promotion from Division 5 and proceeded to follow up with a promotion from Division 4 to Division 3. So we are back on the right track and headed back towards doing it all over again for a second attempt at the Road to Glory. So if we go over to my page here and click the division, this is Division 3F. It has just finished, the playoffs are still yet to finish, but we finished slap bang in the middle of Division 3. Division 3 proved to be a very difficult division, with Sobral FC, FC Dragos and Fredrikstad all proving to be highly competent and competitive sides, and some of those you may be familiar with because we have faced Fredrikstad in this series before, and FC Dragos as well. But yeah, obviously their teams are quite different now from you have seen in previous episodes. Salador also in this division, they've fallen away and they did the double over us that season. So yeah, if we have a look at the club itself and see what the team looks like now. There are no remaining players from our Road to Glory time. There's no remaining players left from the team that won the cup or the team that came nowly close to the league title. Raymond Hargreaves ended up being our longest serving player and retired at the age of 39. Or was it 40? He was very late. He was on for a huge amount of time there. So our team now is going to look very unrecognisable to what you may have seen before. This is our Knights of Sidonia's modern day squad. We have Ivan Dragonescu, our new goalkeeper, a 25-40 bar goalkeeper, who's been very, very good. We have Mats Lagergren, 25-15 defender, alongside GQ LN, 25-14 defender. And then midfield, we have Bagdasar Nazarian, the 14 bar veteran to talents Severino Motta and Roberto Mora. Also Bert Salquist, looking like a very good player for the future. Danny Massa, our 25-14 striker, and you can see the team in the long term is looking over a lot stronger than the last one ever was. It looks a bit unfamiliar given the time skip we've had a bit here, but yeah, that's how Knights are getting on so far, and that's the ultimate tale of what happened to the Xpert 11 Road to Glory series, and how that quest ultimately ended, and it ended in heartbreak. We did achieve our objective of getting promoted to the Ultimate League top flight, but unfortunately it was too late, and by the time we tried to challenge for the Ultimate League title, we just missed out just that narrowly, and it was effectively the last competitive season for the team, as it were. So we had to break up the team just after that and go on this full rebuild that we're doing now. Anyway, that is the epilogue for what happened in the Xpert 11 Road to Glory series. Thank you for watching this. I've been A Person. Thank you for watching the Xpert 11 Road to Glory series. If you want to see how the whole thing panned out, then feel free to do so. But yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye. Hello everyone. Everyone who came here from the Xpert 11 website, there won't be any more X11 content on this channel ever again. However, these days I'm much more of a variety channel which does quite a bit of different types of gaming content. So if you're up for more football style content, I have a very large playlist of Pro Evolution Soccer 4 videos in which I showcase my modified option file where I changed all of the kits and players in there to match the actual season that the game was based on. If you want some non-football content, I have entire Let's Plays of Metroid Prime 2 and 3, as well as several custom content showcases for various different games, as well as showcases for boss battles in brand new games or major events in similar boss battles. So I do quite a bit of that, so if there's anything up your alley, like I have stuff like Smash Brothers, Pokemon, Soul Calibur, Super Mario Maker, I do have a fair few videos on those. I have entire LPs of Prime 2 and 3, and I may plan to do more Prime LPs of old games in the future. But yeah, so that's how things are at the moment. So stick around, check out the channel, maybe you'll find something you're interested in. Anyway, I've been the A Person. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.